Hello, scholars. This is the video overview for this week's assignments. So this is going to be for the entire week. And there are two other videos attached to this assignment that's going to show you like more specifically how to do different parts of the assignment. Um, but this is like the one that gives you the broad overview. So this week is quarter four, week two, where these are days 23, 24, 25, and 26 of online learning. And it is lessons 3 and 4 for quarter four. And both lessons go with the same assignment, and the assignment's due on Friday. The objective is the same for the whole week. We will evaluate the strengths of our research sources as part of a source evaluation, and you're going to submit a Holocaust research source evaluation final paper. And the paper is not very long. It's for each source, you need to do 2 paragraphs and a citation. So it's not like a terribly long document, but it will count as a major grade. So lesson 3 is designed for you to do at the beginning of the week on the first block day. Lesson 4 is designed for you to do the second block day. But feel free to do the parts of this project in whatever order makes sense to you. But I made 3 videos. So this is the overview of the project you'll get in this video. There's a video called How To Summaries that'll show you how to do the summaries part of the project or the assignment. And then there's an evaluations how-to video that'll show you how to do the evaluations part of the assignment. And the assignment is due May 1st. It's a major grade. It's called Holocaust Research Source Evaluation. The rubric for it is on Google Classroom. So when you look at the Google Classroom assignment, it's going to break it up into the 2 different days for you. It has the objective and then the major grade, and here it is. It's attached here, and it's going to make you your own copy. So you would do all your work there and then submit it. You're going to need your digital notes where you did the citations last week and you took all your notes. That will help you to do this project. And then the second thing that'll help you to do this project is the CP Source Evaluation Guide, which you can click and open that. And I clicked and pre-opened it. Of course, it's taking a little bit of time, but that's okay. So here, this is just going to give you an overview of what this assignment is all about, and then it's also going to give you an example. So to make the research paper more manageable, me and Ms. Zaremba kind of modified it from what we would have done if we were in person in school, and that was because we couldn't get library books and a lot of the resources that we would have done and used had we been in person in school. So we minimized the quantity but not the quality of the project. Remember that researching is a process, so I'm going to suggest steps for how you could do this assignment, but you can always rearrange as long as you get it done and submitted. So a source evaluation is an annotated bibliography. So it is a bibliography it has your own commentary added to it. And it's going to be for 3 to 4 sources. So you need 3 to 4 sources to use for your research paper. And then in this source evaluation, you're going to annotate those sources and specifically but in a more formal way. So it's not annotating like we would do with pen and paper. It's a more formal paper. So for each source, you have 3 things that are required. The first would be the citation for the source, which we did last week. So that's copying and pasting. The second is a paragraph summarizing the source. And this should be 5 or 6 sentences. It can be a little bit more. It shouldn't be less. It should be specific information that you got from that specific source or article. So try to avoid general statements. Like, for example, this article talks about the life of Elie Wiesel. Yes, I'm going to assume if your topic is Elie Wiesel and you have a source, I'm going to assume it talks about him, but be more specific. Use your words wisely. So you might say, this article talks about Elie Wiesel's early childhood, or this article talks about Elie Wiesel's when he won the Nobel Peace Prize. The third requirement for each source is a paragraph evaluating the source, and this should answer some of these questions, and you can also answer your own questions, but the evaluation paragraph really tells me what are you going to use this source for specifically in your research and your writing? So let's look at an example. So this person's topic is Leni Riefenstahl, and they start with this is their first source. They have the citation for their first source done, and then they have a summary. And these are just the facts that they learned from the source. They're going to be very objective, so they're not going to include their own opinions. It's just going to tell you about the source. Leni Riefenstahl was a dancer, actress, and film director. She was the most famous for her role in directing Nazi propaganda films. Riefenstahl's first movie, The Blue Light, came out in 1932 and got the attention of Adolf Hitler. That year, Riefenstahl also saw Hitler speak and was impressed with his ability to memorize and his command of his audience. Hitler liked Riefenstahl's film so much he wanted to use her to promote the Nazi agenda and image through film. Though Riefenstahl initially refused, she eventually agreed when she was given a big budget and full artistic control of the film. Triumph of the Will went on to win awards and was considered a hugely successful propaganda film, but it forever associated Riefenstahl with the Nazi Party. Even though she disagreed with many of the actions she saw take place, she did continue to make films for Hitler throughout the war. So this summary is just objective. It just tells you the facts that they learned from this particular source, which came from the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum. The evaluation paragraph, now the person is going to look more specifically about how are they going to use this source and what do they find interesting about the source or beneficial or useful about the source for their own writing. Listen to how this one sounds a little different. The article is especially helpful in explaining what brought Riefenstahl and Hitler together and why Riefenstahl agreed to work for the Nazis. When she first got involved with the Nazis, most of the world had no idea the full extent of Hitler's plans. It makes it easier to understand why a talented young person would choose to side with the Nazis. So this source helps her or the writer to understand why this filmmaker worked with Hitler. She probably didn't fully know what Hitler was planning and was thrilled to get so much freedom to make her art. These are less objective. They're a little more biased, or they include the writer, the person that wrote this, is their opinion, and that's okay because this is an evaluation. This is what you think of the source. I think this source is most useful for explaining Riefenstahl's relationship with the Nazis and why she made their propaganda. I think I would want to include at least 2 paragraphs about this, maybe one about how and why she became involved with the Nazis, and another about her continued relationship with the Nazis throughout the war. So again, this person didn't answer all of the evaluation questions, but they definitely talked about like how they would use it in their actual paper, what information it provided, what stood out to them in the article. So you want to pick and choose and really evaluate the article in the second paragraph. And then you would have these components for all 3 or 4 of your sources that are on your digital notes. And the digital notes are the document we've been working on the last couple weeks. If you have any questions, my office hours on Monday, Tuesday, and Friday are 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. And then on Wednesdays and Thursdays from 12 to 2. You can also email me any questions you have. The last thing I want you to pay attention to is the rubric for this assignment because it is a major assignment. You want to make sure that you do the MLA formatting correctly so you fill in the heading correctly and look at the how-to summaries video, or I'll do that example for you. The citations should be copied and pasted. Be careful when you do the citations because they are in a different font in your other document, so you need to change the font to Times New Roman 12. The summaries, they should be complete, detailed, and objective. And then the evaluation paragraph. The evaluation paragraphs should be thorough. They should be clear, logical. It should be clear that you've critically thought about the quality of the source and how you're going to use the source in your paper. And then, of course, run everything through